What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for all you rascals and rapscallions out there. Now today I'm going to review a movie that I've been wanting to review ever since I started doing these on this channel, but I always thought I wouldn't do it justice. Which I'm probably not going to do it justice today either. I will probably rant and ramble like always. But it's very hot outside, it's like the middle of summer, so I was kind of in the mood to watch like a good, summer horror flick. And in my opinion, the best horror movies set in the summer are camp movies. And we all know about Friday the 13th or maybe The Burning, but in my opinion, the belle of the ball would be Sleepaway Camp. Written and directed by Robert Hiltzik, released in 1983. This has become somewhat of a cult classic. I actually only seen it one time prior to this morning. I was hooked after the first time. I just watched it, and it's just as amazing as it was the first time I seen it. So to get right into it, the movie starts off with a father with his two children out on a sailboat, and you got these they're out like on the water by a campground. And then you got this counselor driving the speedboat with the girl he likes, and they're towing someone behind like on water skis. She convinces him to let her drive the boat, and then they get distracted and end up crashing into the boat with the kids, and it actually kills one of the kids and the father. And then we skip right ahead to 8 years later, where the daughter that survived, Angela, who is like one of the main characters, is getting sent off to camp with her cousin, Ricky. She's living with Ricky and his mother. So Ricky and Angela take off for camp, and right when they get there, this movie is fun to me. I've always been one to say like, I love movies that like seem realistic with the horror, or I love when a movie is almost comedic and then you add the horror and then it gets serious, because like I feel most everybody in everyday life is comedic or relatable, and this movie is both of those. Very funny and every character is relatable. We get some background information right off the bat where Ricky runs into his best friend Paul, and Paul starts telling him about this girl Judy he used to see last summer at the camp at Camp Airwick, and apparently she's like hot shit now, and he's telling her about her. They take off. Paul takes off, and Ricky's kind of showing Angela around because it's her first time at this camp, and Ricky's been there several times. He sees Judy as he's walking her up, and she's a total bitch to him, just blows him off. When you watch this movie, because it's that good, Judy is like a complete bitch. I can't stand this girl the whole movie. But anyways, so the movie gets going, a little bit of character development right off the bat. You know who everyone is in a way. You know they're typecasted, but they have enough personality that it helps. You know, if that makes sense. So we get to a couple days later where Angela is in the kitchen, and apparently she hasn't ate for 3 days or anything. So this is where we meet the camp counselor Ronnie, who's like one of the coolest dudes I've ever seen in a horror movie. Just all around nice guy. You know, there's not really many flaws in this guy when you watch this movie. Just nice fella. You know, he takes the girl, says like, you know, if you can't eat any lunch here, maybe I'll take you to the kitchen and we can find something you do like. He takes her into the kitchen, and there's this really creepy dude who works in the kitchen, and he pretty much takes her to the cooler and tries to like sexually assault this kid, which is really fucked up. Ricky, her cousin, comes looking for her. He's like, what the fuck is going on? The kitchen guy threatens him. Better not tell anybody. Ricky grabs Angela, they take off. And this creep gets back to cooking like corn on the cob in this giant ass pot. And then we get like a first person kind of killer kind of thing where they come in, he's standing on this chair with this boiling water in this giant ass pot, and the killer starts yanking the chair out. He falls off this chair, all this boiling water falls on his face. Now this isn't a kill or anything, but this is so gnarly, the effects. The guy seems to scream forever. Just his skin is boiling and bubbling, like really, really cool practical effects here. Yeah, they take him out on a gurney and everything, and this is where we meet the owner of the camp. His name is Mel, which just is funny to me. He bribes the kitchen staff to not tell anything about this. Ronnie's in there, the counselor, saying, well, it was just an accident. He goes, well, I don't want all the kids to know and everything. And I was just thinking like, well, this isn't like something you would have to bribe people about, because like the guy's alive. You probably shouldn't tell all the kids to upset them. I digress. I'm getting too into this movie. This video will be 30 minutes at this rate. So yeah, he bribes the kitchen staff not to say anything, and then yeah, we keep going with the first act, and this is more character development, and this is stuff like a lot of horror fans might gripe about, but I loved it. It's just like it turns into like an '80s comedy where there's just a bunch of shenanigans. Like Ricky plays a prank on this kid where he ends up doing a sit up into another kid's butt. You'd have to see it. It's really funny. Then they have this long drawn out baseball scene, and Ricky's got a foul mouth. Another good thing about the movie, these kids are acting like real kids would. He's talking all this shit during the baseball game, and James said on the Dead Meat channel with the kill count and everything, he said one of the best insults of all time. One of the older kids tells Ricky, "Eat shit and die, Ricky." He tells him, Ricky says back, "Eat shit and live." Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. But yeah, we keep going, progressing with the story. We go to like a dance and everything, and this whole time everybody's picking on Angela, and yeah, I don't know why this Judy girl, especially, is kind of picking on her, bullying her. Then we go to the school dance. A couple guys are trying to hit on her, and she doesn't talk or say nothing. And they start saying, what are you, some kind of freak or whatever, and just really bullying her until Ricky and his friend Paul come in, and they end up like fighting the bullies. And after it's all broken up, Paul sits down to Angela, and he plays like the nice guy. And they talk a little, and it looks like we got a connection here. Angela finally talks to him, and yeah, there we go. Angela finally said her first word, much to Judy's dislike or whatever. Sorry, I can't talk. But yeah, then we go to this funny lake scene where all these older campers are trying to get these girls to skinny dip with them, and they refuse. And I love this part too. It's really funny. Where like the guys are like, "Well, whatever, girls. If you don't want to have fun, we'll have fun. Come on, boys, let's go." And all these dudes just strip down as they run off the dock and jump in the pool. Like, I mean, live your life how you want to live it, but it's just from the '80s. It's funny. Like, we don't need you chicks. Come on, guys, let's swim together naked. I don't know. I just found it funny, kind of campy. And this kind of leads into a scene where one of the kids actually gets a girl to go on the boat with him, and he shakes the boat, tips it over. She swims away. He swims underneath the boat while it's tipped over, and a head pops up. You can only see the back of the head, and they drown the young kid. And we cut to the next morning, and the lifeguard shows up, and he's all pissed off. These young rapscallions and punks, ruin and trash his beach. He's got to clean it up, and he walks over and finds the boat. He flips it over, and it's the kid's body. He's totally decayed. He's got a snake coming out of his mouth and his nose. I loved it. I seen in the bonus features that the special effects guy didn't really care for the effect. He said it looked too fake, but I mean, as much as I love practical effects, an effect in the '80s, it's kind of hard not to like see that it's fake in 2020. I mean, it looks more real than CGI, but once again, I digress. I thought it looked good. Anyways, we go to like this movie night. They have a movie date at the rec center or whatever, and Paul takes Angela to the date, and we get more character development here where, which I forgot to mention, the camp counselor on the women's side named Meg is a total bitch too, and she's for some reason really good friends with this young kid, Judy, who's a bitch, and they just both have this agenda against Angela. Like every time Paul comes around, because Angela wants to sit out, Paul comes around, they get jealous, and I'm like, why is this girl who thinks she's all that so jealous of this quiet girl? Maybe because the attention's not on her, but why is like the grown adult like upset about it? Whatever, it's just more of a build, and we start to see a theme around here where like everybody that picks on Angela seems to be getting killed off one by one, and they want you to kind of think it's Ricky in a way. I think, at least that's the vibe I got, but it could really be whoever. And then we get the next kill where there's this older kid who's got to go take a wicked dump, so he goes to take a shit in this little stall, and it shows somebody like putting like a broomstick or some wood through to lock the door, and then they come from the back end and cut the screen open and drop like a big old beehive in there, and the bees start stinging him. The guy can't get out. When he finally breaks out of the stall, he falls down. There's some pretty good effects like on like his arm being all stung up and everything. They don't show many kills on camera in this movie, which I love, like practical effects, good gore, but like it's a lot of off-screen kind of kills. But it's satisfying because the effects after when they show the body of the kill are really good. And I mean, this motherfucker must have said Candyman 3 times in the mirror because he's covered in bees and killed. And this was a pretty cool kill. I liked it. And then more development. I'm sorry I keep glancing the other way. I'm kind of cheating. I don't write my shit out, but I got a couple cliff notes like on my dry erase board in the background because I don't want to fuck this one up. It's a good one. But anyways, we have this big old game of capture the flag, and then we move to a scene where Meg comes up, the counselor, and she's asking Mel, the guy who owns the camp, if he's still gonna offer her dinner because I guess he's been hitting on her or whatever. So this guy agrees to be a pedophile and take this young girl out on a date or whatever it may be, and yeah. So Meg goes back to the cabin, and there's a big old line for the shower, so she's got to go over to the shower like on the other side of the cabin. And while she's in there, this is a pretty cool kill. I don't mind this one. She kind of like leans up against the back of this shower, and the killer comes with a knife and just stabs it like through this little thin wall. You know how like thin the walling will be like in a shower at a campground, pretty much like a bathroom stall. So the knife goes through the wall, through her chest, and just slices all the way down. And I don't know, pretty cool effect right there. And then yeah, so after that, it's kind of like this rec night, like a dance or whatever. Like everyone's gonna get together and hang out. So, and at the same time, there's this little side story where this council takes all these little kids into the woods to go camping and everything. And at this point, there's not many campers left because apparently all the parents and everything have been contacted. So there's like 20, 30 kids left on this trip. So we're at the little party and everything, and this is when Paul comes up to Angela and asks if she wants to like go out or whatever. She says, "Meet me by the beach at night." So he goes to meet her at the beach. And then we cut back to Judy, who's kind of like flirting with some boy in the cabin, and he ends up taking off. She's just sitting there curling her hair, and this is like one of the most infamous. I can't speak, right? I can't talk. I went to public schools. I apologize. So this killer walks in and ends up like knocking her out on her bed, Judy, and then he ends up grabbing the curling iron. And this is all off screen, but they do this really good shot of like it shows it shows the shadow of everything, like because the bed's right against the wall. I really like this effect. And the killer takes the curling iron and shoves it right where the sun don't shine, but a little north of that, if you know what I'm saying. It's I've never seen anything like that. Kind of came out of left field, but awesome kill. Nice to see Meg and Judy done with, because they got to the point borderline in this movie. As much as I enjoyed it, like they at points made it hard to watch. I was like, man, this person's a fucking bitch, or whatever. But I guess they're doing what they wanted, because the characters I really liked, and the ones I hated. So, anyways, we this is when stuff starts to kind of fall apart. Mel's looking for Meg. He goes to the shower room where she's at. She falls out dead, and he's had this suspicion that it was Ricky the whole time. And he's like, I'm gonna find that little bastard, and and he's pissed. He said, I've seen the devil's eye in him every time, or something like that. Mel's crazy, by the way. Perfect person for that role. And then this is where the guy who was with the little kids at the campsite when they went out in the woods, all these little kids got butchered too. They didn't show it, but like, man, they ain't really holding back in that sense, So this killer is all over the place, killing everyone. So the counselor that found them runs back. He gets help. Ronnie, the cool ass counselor, calls the police. The police are coming. They start finding bodies around there. They start investigating. Like I said, this is where the movie goes off the rails. And I should have mentioned before, obviously I said because it's the best camp movie I've seen, and it's a great summer horror movie. There is just like an atmosphere to this movie from beginning to end. It's like when it's comedic, it seems like a genuine, like fun camp movie. And in this last like 20 minutes in the final act, like It's eerily quiet. The pacing is perfect. The cut from scene to scene, like it just, I love it. It gets you like on the edge of your seat, wondering what's gonna happen. So what does happen is Mel finds Ricky, and he thinks obviously he's the killer. He literally just takes him down, mixed martial arts style, like Corey Kerr. You know, takes him down like full mount and just like beats the living shit out of the child. So like gets up, takes off, and then it's clearly not Ricky's the killer because we get a pretty cool kill here. He walks out towards like the shooting range for like crossbows or archery or whatever, and he takes this like like a bow like Daryl Dixon would shoot, and he takes it right through the throat, and it shows it pop right out the back. Like not the goriest kill, but like one of the only kills like on camera that they show, and it was awesome. So he's down for the count. The cop keeps looking through the woods. Everybody's kind of split up looking for people. And like I said about people discovering the bodies, this is when I like when a movie can be kind of fun but have elements of like realism in it. Because like when the counselors start finding these bodies, like they're hysterically crying and upset, because that's how you would fucking act. Like I said, my biggest pet peeve in horror movies are when people bitch about comedy. I'm like, what do you, go watch a drama if you want nothing but serious shit, because I don't know about you, if a killer broke into my house tonight, I mean, I would be making jokes all the way up to the point I fell asleep before they broke in, and then well, that wouldn't end good for them. That's a whole different story. I got a crossbow. I'm just kidding. But anyways, we go into this very final scene where the cop finds Ricky barely alive, and then we got Ronnie and another counselor, and they're going to the beach. They hear some stuff over there, and I know my movie reviews give a lot of spoilers, and I could do a new format. I could do a shorter review. I just like talking about the movie in whole. But this one is one I will not give the spoiler away to. If you've never seen this, but heard of it, you've heard about the ending. This is one of the best endings in a horror movie ever. So shocking. To this day, this movie came out almost 40 years ago, and it's still the shit. That's all I'm going to say about it. You know, it's pretty much like I said, the atmosphere, the quiet vibe. And they finally go to that very last scene. Especially if you've never heard about what happens, this will shock the shit out of you. And the way it's shot, there's a certain music. There's a score of this whole movie. The music is so dramatic that sometimes I feel like it doesn't fit, but at others it does, if that makes sense. Like, it fits at the end. And like I said, I just got done watching this. When I seen the end, same effect as the first time. Crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much my 17-minute and 54-second rant about this movie. Overall, this was one I always kind of heard about. This is a horror movie that gets talked about, but it's not talked about on the same level as others. How Puppet Master could be more popular than Sleepaway Camp in a casual horror movie fan's eyes is mind-boggling. But it's in the eye of the beholder. And in my eyes, this is the very best camp slasher ever made. Like I said, better than The Burning, better than any Friday the 13th. There, I said it. I highly suggest you guys checking this one out. Yeah, you can grab this on Amazon. Could possibly be on Amazon Prime. I am not sure, but I know I got it. Grab it. It's good. With this quarantine going on, like I was saying, everyone be safe, man. Cover your mouth, wash your ass, social distancing, wash your hands, just be a good person, respect it. Maybe we can get shit back to normal. But until then, it's like, if you don't need to go out, don't go out. Still live your life. But I'm saying now, do a video chat with someone or stay in and watch a movie. That's what I'm getting at. If you got a little extra time to stay home, it's not all bad. When there's fucking movies like this you never seen, check it out. Sleepaway Camp, man. This movie is the shit. It's got everything you would want in a classic slasher horror movie. This is close to what the blueprint should be in a lot of ways. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. If I want to keep putting this movie over, this video is going to be an hour long. So I'm just going to leave it at that. If you guys want to see different reviews, any movie, let me know. I got a ton up here. You can watch any of my update videos on my collection. You guys can see what movies I have. I have a complete collection I put out in January, then updates after that. So check those videos out. And tell me which one in my collection you want me to do. If you have a favorite like summertime horror movie, let me know in the comments what it is. If you've seen this movie, let me know what you think, especially if you've seen the ending. Obviously, you have if you watched the movie. Let me know, man. Yeah, other than that, I hope everybody's having a good weekend, Hopefully you're working, go to work, barbecue on the weekends at your house, watch horror movies, blood, guts, gore. I'll check you guys next time.